and just understanding what's happening inside the neuromechanics of our own brains and our mind, etc. So I'm going to share some stuff with you that I think will be really, really helpful for you in these really crazy, challenging times. And Deanne, just so you know, I do have the full hour if you need me. I'm doing
Perfect.
a keynote. I'm doing a keynote that they moved to 11 a.m. this morning for a company. So,
hey, John.
Hi, Roland.
Yeah,
hey,
we got rolling.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And I also want John to be able to let people ask if they can, if it's okay with you, whatever's holding them back from, like, what's in their brain, in their head that's stopping them from finding deals, talking to sellers, closing deals, making offers, whatever those things are, as kind of their deal team mindset advisor. How can we help them with those things? Is that something we could be able to do as well?
We not only could be, we are doing that.
All right, fabulous.
I'm going to show you the only 4 things that are in your way, and I'll also show you today, and I'll come back and show you exactly what to do at a deeper level. Today we'll give you a whole bunch of killer stuff of awareness and some tools, but then we'll go a little bit deeper in future sessions. How's that?
That's fantastic. And I would encourage everybody to post your questions. Deanna, is this the one where they can do Q&A, or what's the best way?
No,
Okay.
not on this one, but if you'll just go ahead and post them in the chat box, I'll move them over. And if you don't mind, everyone, just make sure that you're muted so that we can all hear John and Roland really well.
Yeah.
But post your questions in the chat box. I'll make sure that we get them moved over so that we can get those asked to John when we're done.
Perfect.
Yeah, and to Philip's question, I'll be on for about an hour.
Yeah. Fantastic. All right, John.
You'll probably want me off after that.
Let's rock and roll. I love it.
So if you just give me the ability to.
I just made you a co-host, John, so you should be good, darling.
Okay, so let me
You should be able to just share your screen from the bottom.
Yeah, let me just find where is my.
That's a treat, John. She doesn't usually give up her power like that.
I don't.
I want to share my screen. I'm just trying to find my PowerPoint and why that's not showing up. So give me a second here.
No worries. Super excited to see everyone here. This is amazing. Wonderful.
All right, just give me 1 second. I just need to change one setting. Since we're on here, I've got to go to slideshow, setup show, browse my individual slide. My team has been teaching me how to use technology a little bit better.
In the meantime, go ahead and start posting your questions in the chat box and I'll get those started. There you go.
Can you all see that?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Okay, so let me just minimize that so I can see any chats also. Just so you know, some of you may be really good at technology. I have been technologically challenged for a while, but now I'm getting better at it. It's forced change. All right, so I'm going to keep this light but deep. How's that? So when we are faced with these crazy, chaotic times that we're all involved in right now, there are certain things that are happening neurologically that either causes us to perform at very, very high levels or causes us to retreat back into safety and comfort. And so I'm going to be sharing just what is happening right now in our brains around deals, around growing our businesses. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm an entrepreneur just like you. For 40 years, I've been in business in one capacity or another, whether it's in real estate. I built Remax of Indiana to an 85 office franchised operation with 1,200 salespeople doing $4.5 billion a year in sales. I built Bamboo.com with a team, 6 of us, raised $28 million, took it public on NASDAQ back in 97, 98 before the crash. And then I built several other companies, including my latest one, NeuroGym, which really focuses on the inner game, what really makes things happen. So I'm an entrepreneur. I've done one merger, actually 2 mergers and acquisitions when we went public with Bamboo.com. But other than that, I'm not the deal maker type. I've been a grower and then either sell or take public, et cetera. So I understand a little bit about business and infrastructure and teams. And so a question for all of you, and again, since this is a small group, it's easy. How many of you believe this slide that's on right now, mindset of what separates the best from the rest? How many of you believe that, right? I certainly do, because I know that it's not a matter of just knowledge and skills, but if you don't have the right mindset in challenging times and good times and all of this stuff, it can be your downfall. I want to start off with this. How many of you have seen the FedEx logo before? Just let me know. I'm going to take it off for now. And yeah, you can raise your hands or just say, yep, I have. So many of you have seen this before. I started showing this image about 12 years ago. How many of you have seen that image more than 100 or 500 times, either on a package or on a truck? And again, just let me know. John, yeah, I have. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So how many of you know where the arrow is in the FedEx logo? How many of you know? Just say, yes, I do, and say, no, I don't, okay? All right, so everybody knows that there's an arrow there. And Fred Smith wanted that arrow there. Sarah says no. Some of you are not sure. So how is it possible that you've seen this logo, you've seen these trucks, you've seen these commercials for years, but you don't know where the arrow is in the FedEx logo? And Roland, I imagine you do, and Deanna, you do too, right? Just give me a thumbs up if you do. Roland, do you know where the arrow is? No. Oh, hold on. Did you know before, Roland? Roland, did you know where that arrow was before? And so look at what's happening. Philip says, now I see it. Roland, did you see it before? Just type in the chat, or you can talk if you're unmuted, right? So you never noticed before the arrow that's between the E and the X, right? So how is it possible that you've seen this image, 500 times, 1,000 times, 10,000 times, and the damn thing was right there, okay? So for all of you smart people, I'll give you the answer in just a moment. For all of you smart people that, have seen the arrow before and said, John, I know this one. How many of you are aware that when Fred Smith was building FedEx, they wanted to measure where the packages were from the time they were in their clients' hands all the way through to the end destination. And the reason they wanted that was because their USP was when it positively, absolutely has to be there overnight. So they came up with their unique proposition. Then they developed the barcode system that my friend Michael Bash developed to be able to track the darn package so that the secretaries or assistants the next day would be able to say to their bosses, hey, here's where the package is. It's arrived by 10 a.m., which was their USP. Everybody in agreement with that? They put a little baker's measuring spoon, so that was part of their logo. Now, how many of you know where the measuring spoon is without looking at the logo again? Let me know. John, I know where it is, or no, I don't. So we have one person that does so far. No idea, no idea, no idea, no idea. So I want to ask you a question. I'm going to tell you, the measuring spoon is there. Is it possible that you have deleted or distorted that image because there is not a map, okay, or a neural connection in your brain of that image of a measuring spoon? And is it also possible that not only do you not see the measuring spoon, but you don't see anything else in the physical world, in the deals that are available right now, because you do not have an internal map of that possibility? Is it possible that your brain is deleting and distorting 99.999% of all incoming information? Is it possible? Well, not only is it possible, but that's exactly what's happening now. So I want you to do this. I'm going to prime your brain right now and watch how fast this happens. And by the way, Roland, do you know where the measuring spoon is? Give me a thumbs up or thumbs down.
I'm looking, all I see right now is the mindset is what separates thing. Am I looking for?
Because I'm not showing you the FedEx logo yet, but do you know where the measuring spoon is when I'm asking you?
I do not.
Deanna, do you?
I do.
You do? Okay.
I do.
So here's what I want you all to say. I want you all now, find it's a little baker's measuring spoon, like, you know, when you take some flour or some sugar or baking soda, find the measuring spoon now in the FedEx logo. Watch how fast it happens for many of you.
Mm-hmm.
Found it. Ah, yes. Oh my God, it's there. It's in the white on the bottom half of the E.
Mm-hmm.
How many of you see it now? Now, many of you saw it because I primed your brain for what to look for, and then bam, you found it. What just happened? First, we talked about it so I could create some cells of recognition by invoking some curiosity. We made it a little bit fun and made it a little bit of a challenge for you. So your brain's neural plasticity switch was on instead of mostly off. Your brain started to say, let me find it because I'm being instructed to find it. And so boom, there it is. Now, has this always been there? The answer is, of course it's always been there. We didn't change the logo this morning. It's always been there. So we activated the neuroplasticity switch by priming what to look for. Kind of like maybe find deals that you could buy that you maybe never thought of before because you had these preconceived notions and either beliefs or habits or perspectives or a paradigm that's keeping you stuck in your own silo of how things operate in the deal world. Maybe, right? All right, so for all of you smart people, I'm going to take that off right now and say, okay, you now know where the arrow is. You now know where the measuring spoon is. What about the tire? What about the tire that's coming towards you? Where's that tire? A tire? Like, where the heck is this tire? All these three things that are there that you don't see. How many of you know where the tire is? In the D, Odette? Nope. In the D, yep, right in the D, coming towards you. If you take a look at the little circle, there's a tire coming towards you, right? Now, these are just really simple ways to show you that your brain does not see what there is to see. You see what you are conditioned and trained to see. So if we can create an image in your brain of you doing the deals, you finalizing the deals, you benefiting from the deals, you helping the people who you're doing the deals with. If we can create the neural activity and the image of the deals, okay, at completion, you're going to start activating a part of your brain called the left prefrontal cortex, or what I call the Einstein part of your brain, which we'll talk about in just a moment, deliberately, on purpose, and you will be able to do more deals. So, number one key, success in chaotic times, is mental and emotional control. Agree or agree? Mental and emotional control. So let's talk about how does your brain help you or hinder you from achieving your vision and your goals right now. So I'm going to do this in a way that just helps you understand you're dealing with the most powerful biocomputer in the known universe. We can't even replicate this for $1 trillion right now. And so you already own the most powerful computer in the world. I'm going to give you a couple of the user's manual keys. Number one priority for your brain is survival. Survival above all else. If you took away my face and you took away your hands and your feet and your eyes, and if you took away all of the outer layer, you have an organism with a nervous system, right? So this organism is doing everything in its human power to make sure you survive. Right now, with this coronavirus threat looming at your door, the highest instinctual parts of your brain are on high alert. Why? The predator is real and there is a chance of death. Would you agree with this? The predator is real, there is a chance of death, and if you don't believe it, trust me, I know it to be a fact because my mother right now is fighting for her life in emergency because of coronavirus. All right, she was perfectly healthy 5 days ago. Now, you don't need to say anything to that, but trust me, survival is right up there with oxygen. Number two is this is the hierarchy of how your brain's making decisions of what to filter in or filter out. The second piece is it's avoiding pain or discomfort. anything that causes it to feel discomfort, anything that's causing us to think that there's real or imagined danger, we put on the brakes, and I'll show you how that works in just a moment. Number 3, it's trying to do all of this, okay, by conserving energy. 25% of all of your calories are used for brain processing, all the automatic processes of filtering out 400 billion bits of information per second and checking and balancing all your vision, your goals, what you want to do, against survival and avoidance of pain. If there's any real or perceived or imagined danger that takes you out of your comfort zone or where you might get hurt, and you'll see in just a moment in which areas, then your brakes are going to go on. And then right there, okay, you've got your brain seeking pleasure. It's a seeking pleasure organism. All right, so the hierarchy is there. Now it's focusing on safety, mental, emotional, physical, financial, and if you'd like to include their spiritual safety, if that's important for you, or religious safety, if that's important for you. So the hierarchy of what it's doing before you try to figure out how to achieve your goals is this. And when it's threatened, the flight, fight, or freeze activation happens. And we have self-doubt, we feel uncertain, we may worry, we may have anxiety, and we may have fear. What kind of fear? Fear this may not work for me. Fear it's not the right time. Fear I might fail. Fear I might succeed and then fail. Fear I might be disappointed, embarrassed, ashamed, ridiculed, or judged. When our brain's processes are figuring out, is there real or imagined mental, emotional, physical, financial, or spiritual danger or discomfort, this is what automatically activates the worry centers, uncertainty centers, the fear centers, anxiety centers, otherwise known as stress. Everybody clear on the mechanics so far of what's happening beneath your level of awareness? Yes? Alaska woman, yes? Just type in yes, all right? So the question for us is when this fear and stress circuit is activated, which is an automatic reaction to real or perceived danger. So as you're learning how to do these deals, okay, if you don't have, for example, the knowledge on how to do it, it's going to activate the fear and stress circuit. And I'll show you what happens when this happens, but I'm also going to show you what to do about it. So in the absence of certain skills, you revert back to your highest level of training. In the absence of skills under stress, you always divert back to your default or highest level of trainings under that stress. And this, as you see, probably if you can see in my office, I have Frankenstein's brain up there, and I have Einstein's brain over there. So when your Frankenstein brain is activated, that is the right prefrontal cortex that's connected to your memory bank and the occipital lobe in your brain. Probably too much information for you. But when that happens, your brain goes into this automatic loop of what if? What if I try this and I fail? What if I do this and I lose money? What if I do this and I'm embarrassed? What if I do this and I'm disappointed? What if I do this, okay, and I'm judged? What if negative is almost an automatic trigger in your brain when there's a few things going on around lack of knowledge or skills? It's a normal, biologically, neurologically wired circuit in your brain that goes back millions of years, actually billions of years. Billions of years as part of that reptilian lizard brain, instinctual brain for survival. So when our brain is going into these what if negative frames, I call it, then that's when the self-saboteur comes out. That's when the negative emotions are activated. And so imagine this, imagine you're driving your car and all of a sudden, everything's going well, a light pops up on your dash. And the light pops up on your dash. You don't take a hammer and hit the light. The light's a signal. You may be low on tire, on air. You might be low on windshield wiper fluid. The back window may be open for too long. The trunk may be open. The signal of fear is just a signal. But most people don't realize that just like you have a go signal, you also have a stop signal or a be aware signal. Just like you have a pedal for gas and a brake for stop, both of these parts of your brain, the Frankenstein and the Einstein, can be your greatest allies when you understand how they work and then how to manage them versus them causing you to react. Frankenstein reacts automatically. Einstein has the ability to respond. Einstein is your CEO, your executive director, your orchestra leader. Frankenstein's a member of the band. Just think of it in that way. And when you increase your level of awareness of what's actually happening in this nervous system that releases neurochemicals based on threat or pleasure or time, etc., now you are managing you better versus all of your old patterns causing you to react in certain ways. Does this make sense so far? Are we good so far? I'm trying to give you a whole bunch of stuff in a very short period of time since you're such a smart group. So when we have stress, anxiety, fear, panic, that's what leads us to feeling a lack of control. When we have stress, anxiety, fear, panic, and that amygdala is hyperactive on the negative, then we are focusing on all the negative stuff of all the what ifs. In many cases, people think they're a victim of it. They have disempowered feelings. They feel powerless. They react, and that leads to destructive behaviors and some pain and suffering. So this is the neuromechanics of what's going on. I never focus on the effect. I want to focus on the cause so I can control it. So if you're feeling any of these things, and there's a whole lot more, all right, I'm going to show you 3 things based on my newest book. And Roland, if we want to give anybody the free audios to these brain training exercises, I'll give them to them for free. There's 9 of them.
John, I don't know if anybody wants that. I mean, they're not saying that they want it. I think they should say, gimme if they want it.
Yeah, so we'll give them, I created a bunch of exercises. So you know how you strengthen your physical muscles and organs, to be healthier? Well, you can also train your neuromuscles. So when we're in a state of feeling a lack of control, when we're in a state of negativity, we're in a state of stress, anxiety, fear, panic, a very, very simple exercise to do based on the neuroscience of the nervous system is something I teach every one of my clients, and I'll just show you a couple of versions of it. I'll show you 3 of them that you can start using today. And this you can use with your significant other, your children. You can use it in a variety of different ways. So if our brain is an organism, not an organ, an organism that's growing, evolving, etc., right? Then we have a nervous system that's connected to our brain stem, right? And that nervous system is based on sympathetic and parasympathetic. In a stressed state, in an uncertain state, in a doubtful state, in a negative state, in a self-saboteuring state, our sympathetic nervous system activates, blood from Einstein leaves and is getting ready for the motor cortex to help us run away from the predator. Okay, it just removes all of the thinking power that we have. We can actually see this, okay, in brain scan imaging around the stress response, the fear response, etc., which is actually one circuit. The amygdala releases these neurochemicals of cortisol, epinephrine, norepinephrine, etc. We react in a certain way for what? Number 1 priority, survival. Number 2, avoidance of pain or discomfort, whether it's real or imagined. So if we're hyperactive on the negative what if frames, this neural circuit's automatically activated, and we react at the highest level of training we've had around the threat or uncertainty. So Take 6 calms the circuits is so simple. If you put your hand over your chest, just for me to explain, you put your hand over your chest and just over your belly button. And if you take a very, very slow inhale, but I want your belly button to to extend first. So you inhale into your diaphragm, then your lungs. So it goes like this, really slowly, okay? 3, 2, 1. And then hold at the top for 3 seconds. And then breathe out through your mouth as if you're breathing out through a straw as slowly as you can. One more time. Belly first, lungs second, hold for 3 seconds. Breathe out slow, 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 slow. That's Take 6, Calm the Circuits version 1. Take 6, Calm the Circuits version 2 is I breathe in calmness, hold. I breathe out stress. Inhale, diaphragm first. Lungs next. Hold. I breathe in calmness. I breathe in focus. I breathe in certainty. I breathe in personal power. I breathe out doubt, fear, anxiety, stress. You can breathe in whatever you want and you can release whatever you want using self-talk. Now, why does this work? 2 things. Number 1, breathing signals the brain that there's nothing to threat. There's nothing to fear, excuse me. The threat, when we're under threat, blood pressure goes up, heartbeat goes up, we start to sweat, blood flow starts to get constricted in the brain, we breathe shallow. And when we start to, on purpose, deliberately control our breathing, we on purpose deactivate our sympathetic nervous system and we activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which is our calm and response system. So we have a quick, lightning fast reactive system, sympathetic, and the calm to respond system called the parasympathetic, which reactivates and puts Einstein back in the driver's seat. Does that make sense so far? So we could use just breathing or we could use words. Every word you say, when you say the word happy, your thalamus in your brain actually releases the neurochemicals of happiness, specifically dopamine. And if you're with a group of people and you're sharing, oh my God, I feel so good, then you're releasing oxytocin as well, the bonding, happy, feel-good chemical. So we can deactivate the disempowering states, activate deliberately the empowering states, bring Einstein back online, and now in a calm, relaxed state, we can use inner size number 2 called AYA, A-I-A. And AYA stands for awareness, intention, action. Now, awareness of what? In a calm, relaxed state. You can do this where you can say, in the last 15 or 20 minutes, what have I been thinking? What have I been feeling? What have I been doing that's maybe triggered this disempowered feeling or emotion or thought pattern or behavior? And when we practice AYA in a state where there's no judgment, no blame, no shame, guilt, or justification, let me repeat, no judgment, blame, shame, guilt, or justification, just pure awareness, that is your power. Awareness is what gives you choice, and choice is what gives you freedom. It's not to react deliberately, it's not to react automatically based on your old paradigms, your old beliefs, your old habits. The key to all change is awareness of the thoughts, emotions, feelings, sensations, behaviors in a state of no judgment, blame, shame, guilt, or justification. And then we can set what's my intention for the next 15 or 20 minutes. My intention is to feel happy. My intention is to be productive. My intention is to be focused. My intention is to take inspired action. And then when you take one action, which is the second A in AYA, one action towards what it is you want, you have effectively not just activated your neuroplasticity switch, you have actually just rewired your brain and a part of your default mode network that causes you to behave and think and see and feel the same way every single day over and over and over again. So when we calm the circuits first, when we're in a state of awareness and we set the intention and we follow through with one action step, now we're rewiring our brain. Now we're being more productive, happier, more focused, etc. And then I'm going to teach you one other little exercise called Flip the Switch Actor Studio. It goes like this. What the fuck are all of you doing right here, right now? You're just wasting your time, Roland's time, Deanna's time, and my time. So I can't believe we're here right now. Can you believe what's going on in the marketplace? What did I just do? I just went from angry to happy to sad in a freaking instant. Why? What do you think every Hollywood actress or actor learns to do? They learn to manage their emotional state so they are always in control of what it is that they want. So if you happen to be sad or happy or whatever state you're in, the fastest way is to flip the switch to get into the state that you want to change. Now with practice, if somebody tapped you on the shoulder today and said, hey, I've got $10 million to give you if you learn how to instantly go from one emotional state to another. And once you do, I'm going to film you. And if you could do the emotions, you know, to our satisfaction, I'll give you $10 million. How many of you could learn to do what I just did on your own so that you are in control of your emotions instead of your emotions being in control of you? And do you think for a minute emotions drive any type of behavior? The ones you take or the ones you don't? Of course they do. So it doesn't make a difference what emotional state you're in. If you keep running this emotional state and the feelings that emotions create, emotions are triggered in the subconscious mind, feelings are the end result, okay, that you're consciously aware of. But when you learn how to flip the switch at any moment, at any time, you can become more empowered to be in a focused, productive state into an imagination state. Whatever state you want, there's a neural circuit that's activated that releases the neurochemicals for that to happen. Are we having fun so far?
Absolutely.
All right, so Roland, you're going to see some of my newest stuff. So,
Awesome.
So when we activate Einstein now, what was Einstein known for, right? Imagination. He said imagination is more important than knowledge. Einstein is the part of your brain called the left prefrontal cortex that's also tied to what scientists are now believing is the GPS part of your brain. So how do birds, you know, swarm together? How do fish connect together? How are they connected in this electromagnetic field, you know, to each other? Is it possible, just curious, is it possible that there is a part of our brain that for billions of years have been evolving in this electromagnetic quantum field of information, energy information or chaotic information? Is it possible that when you and I activate our imagination of doing deals, buying companies for zero down, learning some of the knowledge and skills of how to do it, and we build the image in our mind first, is it possible that the exact same thing is happening between when a radio station is taking their music and they're sending it out into the airwaves so that we can listen to it on our mobile phones without any wires? Is it possible that when you turn on your radio and you switch from 95.1 to 95.2 to 95.3 to 95.8, you're just tuning into the frequency that's already here? Is it possible that the way yours and my brain works, the most powerful electromagnetic switching station, tuner and receiver in the known universe, when you have this image of what it is you want, you lock that electromagnetic brain of yours that's processing 400 billion bits of information per second within the confines of your brain. However, since we're in this quantum field and through something called entanglement, we are able to tap into the field of everything that resonates with that image. Is it possible? And is it possible? And we're thinking of these possibilities using our brain, and we are curious to how could we structure this? Where can we find this? Whose help do I need? What do I need to learn? What do I need to do? What do I need to stop doing? When we are functioning at the highest level of our brain's abilities, that's when we are in our power. That is what you and I have. 108 billion people have walked on planet Earth. We've been evolving for 2.5 million years from Homo erectus to Homo sapiens right now, variety of iterations of our species to have and own the most powerful brain that we've ever owned. This has been evolving from the reptilian brain to the emotional limbic system to the neocortex, all in the last 2.5 million years, and you and I own one. Now it's time we start to use it better. When we activate Einstein, when we're in a state of curiosity, when we're in a state of possibilities, when we're in a state of our imagination, we have activated the motivational circuit of our brain. Instead of the fear circuit of our brain, we've activated the dopamine, we've activated oxytocin, serotonin in the right orders, and now we are focusing on possibilities. That ties directly to our motor cortex, which cause us to take action. So when we have mental and emotional control, we have many more choices. We have more certainty. We develop more courage. We're much more calm. We tend to be more rational. We tend to feel more empowered. We tend to have more positive behaviors. And this is what helps us achieve amazing results. So when we focus on the triangle of mindset, it's not just a great attitude. Attitude is awesome. And many of you have read Carol Dweck's book on mindset, closed mindset, or a fixed mindset. Very, very, very good book, but not complete in my world. Now, when we talk about beliefs, right? What are beliefs? You weren't born with any of them. What are habits? You weren't born with any of them. What are emotions? You weren't born with any meanings at the subconscious level that trigger emotions that cause feelings, and you weren't born with any perspectives. From a neuroscience perspective, it's nothing more than a pattern in your brain that is constructive or destructive, empowering or disempowering, positive or negative, that causes you to see the world based on the wiring, the beliefs or the lens by which you see the world. The habits is the way the brain conserves energy to create automaticity or your automatic self. Your emotions are nothing more than patterns that are triggered in your subconscious mind because of cues. Cues for survival, cues for pleasure, cues for pain or discomfort. That's what kicks in emotions. And then all of this formulate your perspective or your paradigm of how you see the world and show up. So if you are behaving from an Einstein perspective, your brain opens up your field of views because you're always looking for possibilities. But if you are focusing on why you can't and Frankenstein's active, all of your old patterns are being activated and you see and behave and feel in the world based on how you are, not how it is. So that means that we have to upgrade our knowledge and skills, not only on the outer game, but we have to master the inner game so that we have neural coherence instead of chaos. And that means that we have to develop the strategies, tactics, actions, and have the resources for leverage on how to have the inner game and the outer game working in coherence to earn the money, build the companies, help the people that we want. And there is my 40-minute presentation, which is when I was supposed to leave today, to give you guys an idea of what's actually happening in here that'll help you do more deals.
So cool, John. Thank you. That's really awesome. First, let's all give John a big clap. We can clap. That's awesome. I really.
Give me a big clap, but don't give me the clap.
Yes, exactly. So this is a great time for all of you to ask questions, and I'm going to put up a poll. I'd like for you to say, to answer the questions and let us know what, what's the number one mindset thing that's holding you back from acquiring businesses or traffic assets right now? Is it that you're afraid to talk to people, feel like an imposter, saying you're an investor, that you don't have the confidence to do it, or you don't have time, or you're procrastinating, just so that we can, the more of you that answer the little poll that popped up, the better we can help you and maybe give you some tools to work with. Right now, John, it looks like, I don't know if you can see the results or not, can you?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So yeah, so everybody, if everyone on here would please answer the questions, it would be fantastic. I've got about 22 people left to answer, if you'd answer real quick. And then for those of you who have answered, specific questions that you've got for John around mindset or around your brain or the stuff that he's talked about, please post them in the, this is like a really ridiculously rare opportunity to have the ability to ask John to help you through these things. So please, if you would, post questions there. And then, John, do you want to talk? It looks like the number one and two things are tied right now at confidence and time.
So I want you all, you may want to write this down, and I can come back, Roland, and go a little bit deeper. There's only 4 things that can hold you back. There's not 20, there's only 4. So when you have a goal or a vision that you haven't yet achieved, that you want to, if your self-image doesn't match the vision or the goal, that's going to activate your Frankenstein brain, and you're going to rationalize. Now, the word rationalize, if we break it into 2 words, means I'm going to tell myself and others rational lies. So I'm going to tell myself rational lies like, I don't have the time. I don't have the money. I don't think this is possible. So you're going to start to have self-talk that matches your current hidden self-image. If your hidden self-image is not as big as the goal you want to achieve. That's obstacle 1. Obstacle 2, if the goal or the vision you have causes you to have fear of failure, fear of disappointing yourself again, fear of disappointing your children or your spouse or your partner, fear of being embarrassed, ashamed, ridiculed, or judged, you will not take action because the vision and the goal is part of your conscious Einstein brain, but your fears are part of your Frankenstein brain. And when Einstein has his foot on the gas, but Frankenstein's got his foot on the brakes, there's a lot of activity and you might be learning and talking and doing a lot of shit, but you will not take action. So fear is number 2. 3, and I already see this over here, as well as limiting beliefs. You know, I don't have time. I don't have money. I'm too young. I'm too old. I'm too Asian, too black, too white, too busy, too this or too that. And I'll prove this to you. For all of you that say you don't have time to do this, I want you to ask yourself a question. I want you to imagine that right now, okay, you have the most fucking crazy toothache you've ever had, and it is blistering with pain. Like you could hardly talk. Oh my God, so much pain, right? Would you go to the dentist? And the answer is, of course you would. Why? Because the pain threshold is so high, you would rearrange your schedule because that becomes more important to avoid pain. So don't give yourself or me this crap that you don't have time. If your vision and your goal and your why you must achieve it is big enough, you will make time. There's no such thing as time management. All we have is what we do in time, event management. So if you're saying I don't have time, yes, you do, because I can almost guarantee you, you're not spending 85 to 90% of your time on the highest income and highest impact activities that'll move the needle for your business or your personal life. You're busy, I get that, but are you being really highly productive with high income activities or high impact activities? And I guarantee you, I've done this for years with the greatest CEOs, athletes, etc. And everybody has time if what you want to do is a big enough reason why you must do it. Everything else is an excuse. So the 4th thing that'll hold you back is you don't have the knowledge or the skills. In the absence of knowledge and skills, we trigger Frankenstein brain because we have self-doubt, we're uncertain, and that puts on the brakes on behavior, and then we rationalize as well. So there's just a couple of things to deal with. So I'm afraid to talk to people, 11, that's self-image related. You're not afraid to talk to people. You're afraid to talk to people you don't know that you think might say, what the fuck are you calling me for? Like hang up on you. You're afraid to talk to people because you might be embarrassed, ashamed, ridiculed, or judged. So your self-image is under attack in your own mind. And so you will not jeopardize your self-image because your self-confidence and your self-image needs a little bit of upgrading. No problem there. If you feel like an imposter saying you're an investor, really? You invest in clothes, you invest in food, you invest in knowledge, you invest in education, you invest in advertising, you invest in your team. You are an investor, but your image about yourself being an investor in this context doesn't match up with the vision and the goals. So there's a disconnect, there's chaos happening in your brain. When your brain's in chaos, you default to what? To your highest level of training. And your highest level of training right now is to fight fleas or flee. So we can deal with that. I don't have the confidence to do an M&A deal. Well, that's why you're in this program, and you're going to gain the confidence, the certainty, the know-how, the skill. And as you raise your inner game with your outer game, you feel back in order. I don't have time. I dealt with that one together. I'm procrastinating and not moving forward. Procrastination is 90% self-esteem related. You don't procrastinate because you want to procrastinate. You're procrastinating as a protection mechanism for your self-esteem and self-worth. A small percentage of the population procrastinates because it's actually an arousal method, okay, where they actually wait till the last minute and then they feel so much dopamine and a bit of adrenaline, and that cocktail causes them to finally take action. So everything that you're feeling and experiencing and doing or not doing is a result of what's happening in there. That's why I say if you get the inner game right, all of the other stuff exists. Now I want to leave you with just one thing. Any goal that any one of you wants to achieve, okay? And let's keep it in the context. You can take this context in other ways, but let's keep it in the context of these deals, okay? Is the how-to already available for you? Is how to do these deals already available to you? Are people like Roland and others do they already have the blueprint? Do this, then do that. Think about this, think of that, think of this. All the how-to, right? Unless you're building a colony on Mars, not one of you has to figure out the how-to.
Right.
So take that excuse, set it aside, and just say to yourself, I'm going to learn exactly what I need to so I have more confidence, more certainty, and then I'm going to work on my inner game so it doesn't hold me back because the how-to already exists. That's not your problem.
That's awesome. John, I know you don't have a lot longer, but let me see. Can we answer any of the specific questions? We had a few that were posted there.
Let me look at this right now. So Yogi Patel says, how do I control my mind to jump from one to another and stay focused? You practice staying focused. Focus is a neuro muscle. Now your brain, we have 50 to 70,000 thoughts a day that percolate, okay, from our subconscious mind like effervescent bubbles because we're triggered by outside circumstances, by TV, by a bird chirping, by a car coming, by something we smell, by something we see. And so we start to move all over the place. You have to start practicing mindfulness so that you can come back into focus, come back into focus, come back into focus. And so Yogi, what is meditation all about? What is mindfulness all about? It's being aware so that you can be aware when your thoughts are causing you to go over here and go over there and then come back to focus. Be aware, come back to focus. Set a bell on your computer or your iPhone or your mobile phone to ring every 15 minutes. And every 15 minutes, take six, calm the circus. So take six, calm the circus will work too. Use AYA, awareness, intention, action, and be deliberate every 15 minutes. Back on track, 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 back on track. And that's how you train your brain for you to control it versus it controlling you. If you have a hard time focusing, that is because you have a subconscious pattern that causes you to be unfocused. And I want everybody to remember one thing. You right now are 100% disciplined. You are a 100% disciplined person to your current patterns. When you interrupt the disempowering patterns, replace them with empowering patterns using the science of neuroplasticity, that's when you are in control versus being controlled by your own brain. So that's for Yogi. And for the rest of you, let's see. Crispin says, I've been eliminating low priority daily tasks. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I did set up a most successful business. My daughter was born. My wife had a career job, so I had no choice but to succeed. Dave said, I actually went through your 7-day mindset course. Loved it. Really helped me reset some things. Awesome, Dave. That's our intro level program, which is great. Of those 50, 70 thoughts per day, 9% of them are the same thoughts as the day before. Yes, and most of them are, and I should say most of them, in a lot of people's cases, they could be negative in nature. Why? Our brain wires at the rate, I'm just going to give you a random number, of 10,000 to 1 negative versus positive. Why? Survival, avoidance of pain, right? And discomfort. So we are wiring all of the negative possibilities into the memory bank, into the implicit memory bank as a reference library just in case. Now, what we have to do is not believe our thoughts, not believe our beliefs, right? You are not your thoughts. You have them. Most of them to the untrained person is going to be negative because they haven't learned how to activate Einstein to look at it and go, hey, is this thought real? Is this thought imagined? Is this danger real? Is it imagined? Is it real risk or imagined risk? What do I need to do in order, okay, to use the information and then make deliberate choices? What happens to most of us is we are creatures of, everybody knows how to fill that word, right? Creatures of habit, right? So habits are nothing more than automatic thought, emotional, and behavioral processes tied directly to our set points and expectation points that run automatically to conserve energy, third hierarchy of the brain. So what we have to do for us adults who've been conditioned for 30, 40, 50, 60 years, 70 years, 80 years, we have to interrupt certain patterns that disempower us. We have to deliberately create a new pattern that enforces or reinforces what we want, and then we want to use spaced repetition to reinforce it. So think of it this way. Somebody just gave you 100,000 acres and you need to build all the highway systems, the road systems, an entire city, right? You need to create new roads. So if you were to create new roads, you would design it exactly the way you wanted it to, right? You design a city that you want. You'd be deliberate based on today's information, today's technology, today's abilities. Well, for all of us, we have neurodes. We have neurode patterns in our brain, right? So these neurode patterns are the way the system just operates efficiently. Whether it's old or new, doesn't make a difference. So what we have to do is be aware of what we've got, interrupt the patterns we don't want, lay down some new roads through thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, and then we create a new default mode pattern in our brain that then becomes the new habitual way of thinking, feeling, believing, and behaving. All right, so yes. And Rick, yes, Atomic Habits is a very, very good book.
Mm-hmm. It is. John, Barbara asked 3 questions we could ask ourselves so we can snap into self-awareness about our mindset. You have any thoughts there?
Yeah, so if we go, Barbara, to AYA, the awareness, intention, action, on my phone, at 55 past the hour, unless I'm on a call like this, my alarm goes off. And then I just stop. I do exercise 1, exercise number 2. What have I been thinking, feeling, and doing the last hour? That's number 1. What is my intention for the next hour? And what is the one action or actions I'm going to take the next hour? So first is to be aware of the thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. And then we start to direct that. Next thing I ask is, what needs to happen in order for me to be able to, and fill in the blank. The power of our questions will determine the neurochemicals and the emotions that we feel, which will determine how we behave or don't behave. And so always ask, what has to happen in order for me to do this deal, feel better, raise myself? There's the 955.
That's great.
Right? So what has to happen in order for me to be able to do this? What knowledge do I need? What skills do I need? Whose help do I need? So when we ask our biocomputer, an open-ended question of what do I need? What can I do? What do I need to feel? Whose help do I need? And then we go into the answer. We start to open up the brain's biocomputer to be able to help us solve the issue, because then we activate Einstein versus here's why I can't. As soon as we say I can't, your brain says, okay, let me make that real for you and I'll block out any information that resonates with why you could, right? So we want to reset our filters.
That's awesome. John, I just can't thank you enough for coming in and sharing all this with everybody. If everybody, let's give John a big thank you in the chats. A clap, but not the clap. And thank you so much, John. We just really appreciate this stuff. To me, is more important than everything else that you guys are going to learn, because this is the stuff that impacts every area of your life. And so it's really, really critical that you've got mindset down. So thank you guys for coming. Deanna, what do we have coming up next?
Thank you, Juan. Thank you, John. Amazing as always. Every single one of you, you are elite members. I'm so excited you joined us. Now you've got 5 minutes if you can join us on the next call. Remember, it's in your email. It's a private link that we don't let anybody else have but elite members. So click on that. We'll be going to the next Zoom call, which will be with Roland and Grant. So Grant Teeple. So guys, if you can join us for another hour, pop on in. We're excited. So meet us over there in that other group.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Okay.
Thank you, John.